what Gary Vaynerchuk doesn't know about NFTs. So Gary Vaynerchuk is brilliant, obviously, and he's a great operator because you don't build a 1,300, I think it's over $100 million company now, and do all the other things. He was an early investor in Twitter and I believe Facebook and Tumblr, and the guy's a genius. I mean, he started Wine Library TV, when YouTube was just in its infancy, and he bought Google AdWords. I think Wired, he said at 5 cents each. I mean, his list of accomplishments is stellar and long. He understands about branding. He understands about content. He's one of the leading experts in the world at that. But what he doesn't understand about NFTs is the following. So Gary Vaynerchuk freely admits that what he is great at is following customer attention. Not only what customers like now, actually not really predicting the future, he says, but understanding where customers are going already that other people don't realize. So it's going to be really big. Like he picked out, TikTok, and he picked out other platforms, and he understands how to really message to the context of those platforms. But what he doesn't understand, which is important, is the underlying technologies. Like he freely admits he doesn't really understand about blockchain, how it works that much, and he basically farms that out. Now it is true, like as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, you have to understand your core competency and triple down on it, as he always says, and then basically, farm out the rest. But in today's world, you can't be too narrow because what used to work in terms of delegation doesn't work as well anymore unless you are a little bit broader. It's like Revenge of the Generalist, because the reason for that is because these exponential technologies are all converging on each other. Like you can't just understand one exponential technology, as hard as that is in and of itself, because, artificial intelligence, blockchain, space travel, quantum computing, these are all converging on each other. If you don't believe that, then just look at Amazon, for example. Like Amazon, they used to be an e-commerce company. They still are, obviously, but they're also an AI company. They're a cloud computer company. They're a hardware company. They're a media company. They're a drone company. They're a logistics company, and they're a delivery company, plus probably a lot more. So when you take all those competencies together, they kind of cost a huge swath of exponential technology. So you can't just understand one or two. You have to understand all of them and how they're converging. It's the same thing with Facebook and Amazon. Like Facebook is now, a hardware company with Oculus. They're a VR company. They're a social media company. They're a messaging company. They're a platform company. They're increasingly becoming an e-commerce company. So basically all the big tech companies are competing against each other in all these exponential technologies. So in the past, like I said, I had a podcast called Learning is the New Doing. In the past, it was all about action. Action is still the key differentiator because, without action, you don't get anywhere in life. But action is becoming like a commodity because people are working at McDonald's and a bunch of other places, 2-3 jobs, the whole life, and they're not having anything to show for it. So action by itself is not the key differentiator. Informed action, wisdom, context, knowledge, knowing when to act, having the information to act properly and lucratively is the key. So a lot of people are just acting, but they're like running on a treadmill. It's like they're running 100 miles an hour, but they're not getting any place. They say never mistake activity for progress. So in the past, Gary could triple down on his core competency of understanding consumer behavior. He could just farm out the rest. He didn't need to understand blockchain. He didn't need to understand artificial intelligence. Now, he is doing a deep dive into voice, so he is starting to get a little bit into exponentials, but there's a lot of exponentials that he never talks about, so he probably doesn't understand. He never talks about the technology of blockchain. He never really talks that much about artificial intelligence. He does a little bit, but just on the surface, not in terms of any kind of like applied or technical things to a huge degree. He doesn't talk about space travel. He doesn't talk about He doesn't talk about quantum computing. He doesn't talk about. I think I've been talking too much. I've been on the phone and everything. My voice is starting to go raspy. Like most of my day is just spent talking to other people. Sometimes I have to rest my voice a little bit. I don't have a naturally strong voice. But anyway, I hate when it gets raspy like this. But anyway, he's not talking about Internet of Things that much. He's not talking about, so I think for Gary Vee to get to the next level, he's going to have to spend a little bit less time doing and a little bit more time learning. He says he never reads any books. Like he's going to reach the ceiling of his capacity. He's not going to be able to buy the New York Jets. He says he learns from the comment section. You learn from the comment section what the mass of society is thinking, but you have to learn also from the experts. You have to read books. You have to watch videos. You have to learn about the exponential technologies. His understanding of consumer behavior is brilliant, but it's not going to get him to the next level unless he understands the core technologies also and their convergence. So he needs to spend a little bit less time doing and a little bit more time learning.